Hey, Bob, Peter speaking.
Hi, Peter.
The film team was here. It was quite a show. Yeah, they want to know everything.
Did you dress with a coat and a tie or a little more summer casual?
I indeed dressed with a coat and a tie.
Now I do. I put a tie on because Peter Hommelhoff said he wore a tie during your interview. Otherwise, I never wear a tie.
Robert Byer and Peter Hommelhoff, two physicists, two continents, one mission: to reduce the size of particle accelerators by a huge factor, using laser beams.
Hearing particle accelerator, many people probably first think of those huge machines at CERN, of the large research-driven machines that make it possible for us to explore the very essence of matter.
Not many kilometers long, but centimeters short. The goal, the miniaturization of a particle accelerator to chip size. Now that sounds a bit like science fiction.
Small is beautiful, and building an accelerator on a chip sounds like it's impossible. But we combine the tools of the semiconductor industry with modern lasers and can build a laser-driven accelerator in a transparent dielectric.
Friedrich-Alexander-Universität in Erlangen, Department of Laser Physics. Peter Hommelhoff and Robert Byer are head of the international collaboration ACHIP, or Accelerator on a Chip.
The beam passes through here. We can look through this structure along the line of vision. The electrons passing through here are accelerated because this structure shapes the laser light into the proper form. And this is the accelerator we build on a chip. That model is then lithographically fabricated on a scale that is smaller by a factor of about 1,000.
The electrons propagate along the special nanostructure.
So we've added little bells and whistles to make these structures more effective so that we can use intense laser radiation to accelerate the electrons.
These pillars are simply there to help us to generate the field, the optical field, in such a way that the electrons are accelerated as efficiently as possible.
First, we need a source of electrons, and in our case, that's an etched tip of silicon. Then we need a way to get those electrons pre-accelerated, and we do that in a buncher and pre-accelerator stage. And then finally, we have the acceleration stage to gain more energy for the electrons, which is useful for applications.
The innovation harbors enormous potential for fields like materials science and physics. A new generation of nanophotonics-based particle accelerators in the making.
What we have here is the core piece of our setup. The electron microscope is simply the source of electrons. Our little accelerator chip, where we accelerate the electrons, is inside the electron microscope. When the electron pulse arrives, the laser pulse is directed onto the chip and either accelerates or interacts with the electrons.
The technology is compact, versatile, and easy to scale. A huge breakthrough for Bob Byer of the University of Stanford, who has been working in this area for decades.
This program is funded by the Betty and Gordon Moore Foundation, and it's enabled us to do a nearly impossible but very important task of building the world's smallest accelerator.
A dream come true for the two researchers. Things could have turned out quite differently.
As a small boy, I wanted to become a captain on a rescue lifeboat. But then we took a boat to Helgoland in stormy weather. I spent most of my time feeding the fish, which forced me to rethink that idea.
Lucky for science, Bob was planning to become an astronomer.
My grandfather worked on the Palomar telescope and on the Mount Wilson telescopes as a machinist. So he introduced me early on to telescopes and being able to go up the mountain to the telescope.
Now he has gotten his grandkids interested.
I looked at the rings of Saturn the last time.
Wow, that's neat.
But away from the cosmos and back to the nano world, the scientists believe that there will be applications in medical therapy, a very important field for Bob Byer.
We can make an accelerator small enough that you could insert it in the body and do your irradiation on the tumor directly and not put radiation anywhere else in the body. And that would make a big difference for patient health and patient recovery. So that's one of the long-term goals, is to have an accelerator small enough that medical doctors would have it in their home office and could use it for treatment.
But there is still quite a way to go until then. The current setup looks like this.
This is what we promised our wonderful financial backer, the Moore Foundation, a machine that is the size of a shoebox but can generate high-energy electrons.
And we chose Peter Hommelhoff's foot because he had the biggest shoe.
80. We've achieved 80%. It probably does warrant the term game changer because we are actually able to shrink a standard accelerator by a factor of 10,000.
Pedro Hommelhoff and Bob Byer, they may have lots in common, but there is one minor difference.
It hardly rains in Franconia, until it does. However, this is the driest region in Germany.
It never rains in California.